Hello, my name is John Spritzler. I'm a member of People for Democratic Revolution in Boston, and this video is our first attempt to produce a video that shows the viewers the signatures, of which we now have 1,780, for the egalitarian revolutionary declaration of belief called This I Believe. So I have in my hand signatures on lots of pieces of paper where we've been showing people the statement and asking them if they agree to sign it. And what I would like to do is to read you the statement and then show you the signatures. All but 40 are in my hand. The other 40 are online because you can go to pdrboston.org and see how to click on the online opportunity to sign if you want. But mostly we collect signatures in front of supermarkets and similar places and public places. And it's been mostly in Boston and towns around Boston and somewhat in very rural New Hampshire, the towns of Unity and Leominster, New Hampshire, where we've collected 61 signatures. In both the urban liberal Boston area and the conservative rural New Hampshire area, people have been equally enthusiastic about signing this statement. In fact, it's always been the case that 75% or more of the people who stop to read it sign it. Here's what they're signing. It says, "To my neighbors near and far, this I believe. Something is very wrong about our society today. It should be based on the golden rule, do unto others as you would have others do unto you. But instead it is based on the opposite. He who has the gold makes the rules. The ones with the gold celebrate greed and looking out for number one, destroy the environment for personal gain like BP did to the Gulf, and pit people against each other to control them. In the United States, we have a fake democracy. Big money owns the media and political parties, controls the electoral process and politicians, and determines government policies which have nothing to do with campaign promises or what most people want. This is not right. Our capitalist economy is based on and perpetuates enormous economic inequality. Most people are merely hired hands working for and required to obey employers who claim illegitimately to personally own the earth's land and minerals as well as the material and intellectual wealth produced by millions of working people. The poorest people do the hardest work and enjoy the benefits of socially produced wealth the least. The richest do the easiest work in great luxury or do no work at all and enjoy the lion's share of these benefits. This is wrong. We, the undersigned, want real democracy and an economy based on equality and concern for one another and generations yet unborn. Laws should only be made by meetings at the local level open to all who support equality and democracy. Social order on a larger scale, such as complex economic coordination, should be achieved by voluntary federation of local communities and workplaces, not by laws written by so-called, quote, representatives, unquote, in distant capital cities, or by commands from CEOs imposed from above. We should all equally own and enjoy the benefits of the earth's resources and the wealth that we produce by working together, with nobody being rich or poor. The principles of our economy should be from each according to ability to each according to need. A golden rule idea as old as the Bible, Acts 4:34-35. Work should be for shared goals, to produce things that people need and want, to share freely, not buy and sell. A greedy, rich, and powerful minority, who were never elected and therefore cannot be unelected, prevents Americans from making ours a more equal and democratic society. which is why we need a revolution to remove them from power. Okay, so now I would just like to show you the signatures. Here we go. Here's the statement that people are seeing when they sign. It's exactly what I read. Here's the stack I'm taking them from. You might wonder, how many people did it take to collect these signatures? And the answer is that the number of people who've collected signatures is in total, let's see, 8 individuals that have collected any signatures at all. But those 8 individuals, one was a barber where I get my hair cut, who in 1 week collected 33 signatures. There are 2 people up in New Hampshire who've collected signatures. We have 61 signatures up there. There are 2 people who live in Boston who have, on a couple of occasions, not much more than that, joined me in standing in a public place to collect signatures. And the rest, all those signatures that I just referred to come to about 100 signatures in total, and not much more. The rest of the 1,740 signatures that we have on pieces of paper were collected by just 2 people, me and my son, my adult son. And we've been doing it for about a year and a half in a really consistent way. But you know, it's my son. I'm retired, but my son works, and so we're only really able to do it together on the weekends, and not all weekends. So my point is that a very small number of people have been able to collect a lot of signatures easily. The obstacle to collecting signatures is not that when you get someone to read this, I believe, that they won't sign. In most cases, they're very willing to sign. They sign readily. The obstacle to getting more signatures is persuading more people to collect them. And I think that the main reason that most people are not enthusiastic and willing to collect signatures at the present time is because they don't believe that most people will readily sign. They think that, you know, they're going to have to get into a big argument to try to persuade someone to agree to this, I believe, and that most people won't agree, and what's the point of collecting signatures, something that most people won't sign. That's, I think, the reason that people don't presently join in the effort to collect signatures. But the more signatures we collect, the more people who see them on things like this video, I'm thinking and hoping that people will begin to reevaluate their feeling about it being so hard to collect signatures and begin to see that actually it really is easy because most people agree with this and sign it. Now, if you can tell from the content that I read at the beginning of this, that this statement is not a watered-down statement at all. It's extremely frank about the problem being that we have a fake democracy and we need to remove the rich from power, and capitalism is wrong, and we need a different kind of society based on from each according to ability to each according to need. That the rich were never elected, so we can't vote them out. You know, all of this is in the statement. These are very radical ideas. Most people who agree with these ideas think that they're a tiny minority in agreeing with these ideas. They think that very few people agree with these ideas. But they're wrong in thinking that. The reason people think that way is because, I think in large part, the mass media never show people, ordinary people, expressing these views. And so, since we form our opinions of the millions of Americans that we don't know personally from the mass media. And if your opinion is formed from the mass media, you're going to think that hardly anybody feels this way, agrees with this, I believe. And that's the situation we're in. We're in a situation in this country where, in fact, the majority of people, a great majority, feel this way. They know we are living in a fake democracy. They know that the inequality of capitalism is wrong. They would love an egalitarian revolution as described in this, I believe. But they feel completely hopeless about the possibility of it happening because they think that there's just a tiny, hopelessly weak minority who want it to happen. And the whole purpose of collecting signatures for this, I believe, is to demonstrate to the public that in feeling this way, in agreeing with this, I believe, they're the majority. They're in a large majority, not a hopelessly weak, small minority. Our ultimate goal is to persuade enough people to collect signatures so that we can actually collect 130 million signatures. That's a majority of American adults. And the reason that's important is that when a majority of American people know that a majority of Americans want an egalitarian revolution, then everything will change. Then people will start thinking about concrete actions to make it happen. They'll start thinking about how to act together on a large scale. And they'll think about doing things which presently seem totally pointless and absurd to even think about. People now think that having an egalitarian revolution is like making the weather be perfect every day. It's so impossible that it's silly to even think about how to do it. But the only reason they feel hopeless that way is because they don't believe that most of their fellow citizens will sign this "I believe" in agreement with it. We used to collect signatures on both sides of the paper, and then we stopped to make it easier to put them on banners by scanning the sheet. But these are some of the ones from when we did that. Here's the last one. So if you'd like to read more about our effort to build a revolutionary egalitarian movement, I encourage you to go to our website, pdrboston.org. Thank you very much.